Hi, I'm Mike Goslin with Pacific Bag, and today I'll show you how to set up your 1 BDE manual filler for single serve operation. The machine is going to come packaged in a box like this. It'll have some styrofoam blocks in it, and it'll also come with the user's manual as well as this setup video. Okay, once we've unpacked the machine, it should come out of the box looking just like this. Before we plug the machine in or hook it up to the compressed air, there's going to be a couple pieces of the machine that we need to remove first. These pieces are used to stabilize certain parts of the machine that are susceptible to damage during shipping. The first one that we're going to need to remove is a small screw that's used to brace the load cell. That should just be hand tight, and we'll unscrew just like so. If it's a little bit too tight, go ahead and use an Allen wrench for it. The other two pieces that we need to remove are the braces. There's one on each side of the vibratory feeder. Each one is held in by 2 bolts. There's one right here, and the second one is right here. Again, we'll just need a small Allen wrench just to loosen these up and remove all 4 bolts. Okay, at this point the machine is ready to be plugged in and hooked up to the compressed air, just like so. At that point you can turn the machine on just by flipping the power switch. It'll run through its startup cycle. At that point, if you have your weight setting all ready to go, then you can begin running the machine. If not, then I'll walk you through how to set the weight. The first thing to do is, if the load cell has not been zeroed out, press the button on the left here to zero it. In this case it was already zeroed, so you didn't see any change. If you want to change the set point of the weight, you're going to push the button second in from the right here that says set point. At that point you'll see the weight setting for the final. In order to get to the final weight setting, you hit the button on the right here, which is the return button. In order to scroll through the digits, you hit the left button here. The blinking number indicates what digit can be changed. So if we wanted to set, for example, 12 grams, we would move to this digit and increase the setting by 2. If we like it at 10, we can decrease that number back to 0. We'll hit return again. Set point 1 can be adjusted. I recommend about 1.5 grams for set point 1. I'll explain this later, but this is where we start feeding from our fine feed setting. This machine does not have a setting for set point 2, so we can leave that at 0. Then we go to our free fall setting, which should be, for the best accuracy, about 0.2. Once we've scrolled through the rest of the options here, which aren't used on the machine, and we get back to final, we hit the set point button again, and we're back to our main display. That process, once you've done it a couple times, is pretty straightforward, but if you need to consult the operation manual to make sure that all the buttons that you're hitting are correct, please go ahead and do that. Okay, now we are ready to plug the machine in, which I've already done, and hook up the compressed air connection. The machine will come with a connection just like this, so all we'll do is hook up the air connection, and if necessary, adjust the air pressure. We should be at about 30 psi. Here you can see we're too low, so all we'll do to adjust the air pressure is twist this knob up until about 30. Okay, at this point we're ready to pour our coffee into the hopper. Just go ahead and pour it in, and now I will walk you through how to adjust the speed settings on the machine. Okay, now we'll start adjusting the speed and how quickly the coffee is fed onto the weighing bucket. This can be a little bit of a challenge, and will require a little bit of patience to dial it in properly to get the correct setting. Basically what we're trying to get here is a nice match of speed so that we can feed the coffee quickly, and accuracy so that we're hitting our set point. I've got it dialed in right now to the point where for my coffee it's going to feed quickly and accurately. Depending on the roast and the grind of your coffee, it may vary a little bit, so you may have to spend a little bit of time dialing this in. Okay, with the settings dialed in, you'll just press the start button and the coffee will begin to feed. I've got my setting at 10 grams, so we'll go up to 10 grams. Once we're at 10 grams, we'll just take our single serve cup. There's a photo sensor right beneath the dispensing bucket here. So all we'll need to do is take the cup and place it right in front of that photo sensor, and the coffee is dispensed into our cup, and the machine will automatically go into another cycle until 10 grams is reached. Okay, and now I'm just going to show you a little bit about how to dial in the machine for your particular coffee. Again, dialing in the machine can be a little bit of a challenge and will require some trial and error. You're trying to get a balance between accuracy and speed. So for example, if I adjust the settings down like so, we're not going to be getting a very fast feed. As you can see here, we're slowly feeding coffee into the bucket on the load cell, okay? And so that is not something that we want. On the alternative, if we just turn the settings all the way up, we're going to overshoot our set point. In other words, we're going to be feeding coffee much too quickly onto the load cell. So in this case, we will go over the 10 gram set point if we start the machine. See, in that case, we overshot by about 2 grams, which is significant. So it'll just come down to playing with the settings a little bit in order to get the right settings for your particular coffee. Okay, and the last thing that I'm going to show you how to do here is the calibration of the machine. Much like setting the set point, this can be a little challenging the first couple times you do it. Unlike setting the set point, this isn't something that should need to be done very often. But if you have any questions, the step-by-step procedure is in the operation manual. The first thing that we're going to do is open up the back of the machine by pushing this button here, and this will open up the back to where all of the electronics are. Before working in here, make sure that the machine is turned off and unplugged just for safety reasons. So with the back of the machine open, we're going to locate at the top left of the machine, there's going to be a couple white switches right here. We are going to use a fine tip screwdriver or something else with a fine tip. In this case, I've got a pair of tweezers to flip the white switch on the right up. And once we do that, we'll be in calibration mode. Okay, now that we've put the machine into calibration mode by flipping the switch in the back, we can plug the machine back in and turn it on. As soon as we turn it on, we'll see it'll go straight into calibration mode, and the machine will be blinking FCal. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the return button through the settings. These are adjustable, but are factory preset to be the settings that we need for our calibration here. We're going to hit return until the machine starts blinking 0. Next, we're going to make sure that the hopper and the weigh bucket are completely empty and that there's no additional weight on there. This is going to determine the 0 weight of the load cell. So once we've made sure that there is no additional weight in the weighing bucket, go ahead and press this return button and the machine will 0 itself. Now, the machine will show span and then move to a number. This is going to be what our calibration weight is. I prefer to use a 10 gram calibration weight as that's generally the weight that we're going to be putting into our upshot cups. Okay, so we'll adjust this value down to whatever weight you're using in grams. Again, I'm using 10 grams, so I'm going to adjust that to 10. Now, before hitting enter, I'm going to take my 10 gram weight and I'm going to place it right on the lip here of the weighing bucket, or if you'd like, you can actually place it in the weighing bucket, so long as that's the only weight on there. Okay, so with the 10 gram weight on the weighing bucket and 10 grams on the display, we'll hit enter and the machine will read that weight and then say end, and we'll go back to the calibration screen. At this point, we can turn the machine off so that we can take it out of calibration mode. In order to take the machine out of calibration mode, just like to put it into calibration mode, we'll open up the back panel. We'll locate that one switch that we flipped right up at the top left of the machine, and using another fine point, we'll just move that switch right back down, and the machine will be back in operation mode. Alright, thank you for watching the setup of the one BDE manual filler from PBI.